show right now, so don't you worry about me.
Okay. Well, the first thing they should be doing, they should say, first of all, if you're going to have to do a damn thing, now I got too much into the specifics. Let me give you some broad categories. You should say, we ain't going to do anything in this country. Do it, and this whole movement in the streets, in that even though whites are joining it, we don't want it to be a replication of what happened in the civil rights movement. It came in, and the Kennedys invited whites to join the movement to dilute it and water it down so it wouldn't be too black in the civil rights movement. He had all the unions to come in. He had all the universities send white kids into it. He invited all the women to join. He invited gays and everybody else. They watered down the civil rights movement in the 1960s. That's why it was a failure. That's why civil rights died in this country, because they watered it down and brought everybody in. They're gonna do the same thing with this march, okay? But let me go back to things I would say. If you're serious about doing something in this country, the first thing and only thing you should do is go back to the original point of what put blacks into a bad class. Right now, blacks are a permanent underclass. You can't be, why are you talking about racial inequality unless you go back to the beginning? Now, where did racial inequality come from? It came from the fact, what? My first book told you, black labor, white wealth. That the whole point of slavery, that's where they should start. They should start with, what was the purpose of slavery? Forget about all this other stuff they're talking about in the street, about brutality and police reform and racial equality. Forget that crap. What was the purpose of slavery? The whole purpose of slavery was to hold blacks in chain as a chain bonded labor, and then to maldistribute 100% of all the land in this country, land, wealth, income, businesses, minerals, rights, privileges, and controls of all levels of government into the hands of the dominant white society. That was the purpose of slavery. That was the whole purpose. Now, when that was done, what have anybody changed? What are you marching about if you haven't changed the damn thing? And that's why, right, like wealth was one of the first things. Wealth controls your opportunities in this country, not civil rights and social integration. Who has ever changed the first thing they maldistribute was wealth? Blacks got 1/2 of 1%, and whites got 99% to kick your ass anytime they want them. And wealth controls the politics. That's why Soros and these other multi-billionaires are sponsoring the Black Lives Matter. They got the damn money. That's what you should be focusing on. Why don't you go back and redistribute some of that wealth back into the hands of black folks, so black folk won't have to go into the streets? They won't have to burn down your stores and your buildings because they have their own buildings. They won't be there in the first place. They would not be giving you their money. They got a $1.3 trillion worth of disposable income every year. They'll keep it in their own neighborhood with their own people. So I go on, but that's the first thing. Go back to the purpose of slavery and deal with that. Focus on that and nothing else. Forget all the other crap you're talking about police brutality. Once you do that, I'll tell you about my 5-story building. You got the wealth. You can control the police department. That's on the 2nd floor. But so the third thing, go back to the whole point of the civil rights movement that they had in the 1960s, which again, they diluted, started bringing in all these immigrants to make sure blacks became the permanent underclass in the society. Blacks are the original minorities. And they're a permanent minority in a society where the majority will win, the minority will lose. But they forget that the Federalist Society that wrote up the Constitution said this, that if you're going to practice a majority win society against a minority, and you don't adhere to taking care of the minority's rights and privileges, then the minority does not have any obligation to be bound by any damn thing you do. That means if you got police force that those blacks in this country, since they've been bound to be the only damn permanent minority, they can ignore all these damn laws. They can say, forget you on every damn thing, because the Federalist Papers, Federalist Paper number 10, so you want to find out. Number 10, the Federalist Papers number 10, that was written by James Madison, that wrote the damn Constitution. He said you're going to have a democracy where the majority will win, and whites are going to make themselves the permanent majority always, and blacks the permanent minority. Then the damn minority that loses it doesn't have to abide by a damn thing you say.